afternoon and welcome everyone to the Uncensored live Q&A session, a Trading Talk webinar. My name is Danny and I will give you the webinar today. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go through the previous questions that we received from other webinars, these previous webinars. And followed by that, we'll have the dynamic, which looks like that. The dynamic questions are the true purpose of this webinar, and this is just giving you guys the stage to use the question section and ask whatever you want. I wish I had that when I started trading. You can just get all the answers on the screen, and I'm going to put it right down here. Okay, the third part is more informative. I'm going to share with you some links that we have here to see to save you the trouble to look for certain things in our website, certain content. And lastly, we'll have this bit is really to help us emphasize analysis, but we don't really use it too frequently because the majority of the questions are involved with analysis, and this is why we don't have to use it to demonstrate, but we'll see how far we go with it and how much time we have left. Okay. And any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Now, a very frequent question, and I didn't put it in the, our team didn't put this question in the presentation because we usually say it in the beginning of the webinar, but this question is if this webinar is recorded. Okay, if we can get a recorded version of this webinar, and the answer is actually yes. Okay, all you have to do is to go to our YouTube channel, maybe later today or hopefully tomorrow, but the sooner the better, and then you can just watch it there. Okay, on YouTube in our channel, I believe that all of our webinars are recorded and they are uploaded to there. Okay, so what should I do if I have a losing position? Okay, you might want to close it, right? But it's a very good question. How can I place correctly stop loss and take profit? Okay, it's also a nice one. Can I make profits trading an hour once a week? Yeah, you can make profits in a minute, but okay, we'll get to that. How to place correctly CSR levels. Oh, okay, center support and resistance. Okay, right, so we're gonna okay. All right, let's first actually that question is going to help us with the rest, and I'm thinking perhaps we should do this and then get to the rest because we don't necessarily have to answer that in a linear order. Let's take that. Let's take that, begin with that, and that will help us construct a very visible image on our chart. Okay, before I even go ahead, I want to let you know that this platform is called a AvaTrade. To access this platform, you don't have to download or install anything. It's straight from our website. You just log in with your email and password to avatrade.com, and you're supposed to see that. Of course, if you see another screen, you can just go to our customer service and ask them to apply it on your account, either them or your senior account manager. Okay, like I said, the AvaTrade. Okay, you can find it also under the web trading. Okay, now how to place. So first of all, before we even get to that, let's find ourselves an interesting asset to work with. We already know the stocks are unavailable right now because the US market is still closed. Let's look for something interesting. What's coffee doing? Oh, we already, okay. Did we do coffee last week? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt that. Okay, let's just get rid of. Okay, so I've made some adjustments. I want to go through those adjustments with you guys, so you will also know how to enjoy this kinds of preparation. Let's get rid of everything that is here. So you see I have prior analysis placed on the chart. I have some lines here. I have some stop loss area, loss area, gain area. Actually, okay, no. We'll start from scratch. It's better to do it this way. This way you guys can also learn what I do. Okay, so let's just go through that quickly. We're not going to go too comprehensively. We have a webinar dedicated to that. It's called a webinar for beginners, okay? But just on a nutshell, here we have the name of the asset. Here we have the time frames. Here I can change from lines to candles, which is marked on candle now. I can also allow or disable the crosshair by clicking it on this icon. Then I can, you see there is no information because I have no crosshair. If I change it to the crosshair, then I do. Okay, if I do it, then I do. I have this nice rectangle that popped on the upper left, and I can get data from the candles. Now, if I keep going to the right, we have here the layout. I can change. I have two assets simultaneously to the right. You see, left and right. I can also place it above and below. Sure, whatever you like. Then I go back. Here I can place an indicator as an example. Okay, then I just drag it to the right, and I can modify it. Okay. Just a second. It doesn't make any difference. The colors that I'm placing. Okay, not at all. It really depends on you. And then I can click here. You see this column here. I don't know if you noticed this bit. There is this bit price column. If I click and drag it down, it lets me minimize the chart. Let me squeeze down the chart, and then I can move it up and down. Okay, let's just understand if I'm not going to do that. Okay. If I'm not going to do that, it won't let me go up and down. See, I click and drag, but nothing happens. But if I click and drag here first, it squeezes the chart, and then I can move it up and down. Okay. Now, actually, Bollinger Band doesn't really suit to what we're trying to do here. So let's just keep it as it is. Very nice image here. Okay. And the question, guys, was the CSR levels, right? The center, support, and resistance. Now, what exactly center stands for? So we have support and resistance. We do understand that. Let's just recap that quickly from the people, for the people who doesn't know. So support and resistance are edge points on the chart. There's some things simplifies how to find it, such as this lovely, this one is lower, it doesn't really matter. Okay. We can mark them both, but let's keep it as it is. Okay. Now, you see that this guy here at the bottom shows us that there is a pivot point at 192.52. I can just get rid of that from now with a trash can. and I can place here a resistance line around 245, can flat it with the coordinates. Let's make green. The other one red. Again, as I have explained before, and I've been asked about that many times, the color doesn't really make a lot of difference, but you can decide what you like. Just a second, guys. Okay. So as I can also flat that as well. Let's make it. Okay. All right, and this is our support and resistance. We have many more lines. We have lower lines like here, and we have another one like here. So this is another support line. So the logic here is resistance will be higher, support will be lower. There are certain levels, as you can see, 240, 245. Even that one can be a nice resistance. You see 230, 233.85. Okay, somewhere here. So those levels indicates, okay, this support and resistance indicates certain levels that I think if it gets beyond that level, the 233.85, something exceptional might have happened. Okay, you see that typically it didn't break through that level. Okay, 240 even more than that, 245 even more than that. We can see that it didn't reach those levels in the past. Let's see. So this is quite frequent. This was just a week ago, but before that, it took it more than a month. Oh, sorry, it took it another week, and then here more than a month. And that helps us have some measurement when we are trading. Okay, resistance, resistance, resistance. Below, I'll find my support. Just a sec. Okay, and we can understand that with those levels, we can have some measurements of what we expect from coffee to do. Again, we need to understand that those levels are in different segments. So for instance, if I'm looking at the recent time that we have today, so we might want to look at that, but I can also see that in here, we have a very interesting segment as well. Just a second. And why is that important? Because when I'm buying or selling, just a second, when I am buying or selling, I want to have measurement of what to expect. Okay. You saw that the first question that we had was about losing positions. So this is also a great tool to know that I'm holding a position, if it's worth holding it or not. Okay, if I want to break even or do something else with it. Okay, to hedge, there are certain things we can do. Right, and we can see that levels are changing. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I should see this pink line, 214, almost 215. Let's make it 215. Okay, and then I can see the levels here. So we have 245, 192.5, in between some other levels here which I marked. They're less relevant. Let's focus on the green and the red. And there is also the center which we can also place. Now those are far away. Those are far away, as I have explained. And analyzing them is not going to be as efficient, but I should know that they exist. Okay, now I'm scrolling up and down. Okay, I'm scrolling up and down, scrolling up and down. Okay, and when I'm looking at this picture, let's suppose that I want to take a buy. Okay, let's suppose that this is a buy. Let's get rid of that. And I'm looking at the following levels. So we have 245, 240, and 233. 233.85. Let's minimize that to the bare minimum. Now I have 10 units of coffee. I have 0.01. If it gets to the first resistance line, let's see, 233.85, I can make 65. If it gets to 240, I'm going to make 126. If it gets to 245, 176, but we see that the last time it's been there was a while ago. Okay, so that depends on my strategy. I want to hold it, if I want to wait, and again, if I would use this method for, let's say, hourly candles, well, it's not going to show me the levels, but I can do the same. I can find here some places for my lines, okay, and then I can see how far away they are, and I can check it with the minimum lot size. Now, again, you don't have to use the minimum lot size, but I'm showing you this to be able to have the ability. Okay, you can obviously customize it. If you're aiming for this level 233.85, okay, you see that you can make 71. If I increase that by 10, I can make 700. I'm going to write down a couple of things here that will help us construct a position with much more sense, but this is a nice way to look at things. Okay, so we have resistance, we have support, which is at the bottom, as we said, and we have the center line. Now, if I look at the main recent support and resistance, it will have to be, okay, I'm getting rid of the rest so it won't confuse you guys. But you can see that the most recent segment that we have now is approximately that. Okay, we have before that, we had 2 weeks ago and so on, but we can focus on 240 and 215, which is the support and again the resistance. Okay, we have some kind of double top here, but it's not exact, so I'm leaving it aside. 266.5 is where we are at right now, which is approximately in the middle. Now, how do I determine a certain center line? Very simple. Okay. So that's, yeah, roughly not exactly where we are at. Not exactly. I'm not sure that you can see it. Let's see if I can somehow make you guys see that. 277.5, right? So let's make it 1/2. Again, I'm just clicking on the line, guys. Nothing too crazy. I'm just clicking on it and changing it. Okay, so we have resistance, support, and the center. Very, very efficient. Again, you can find this kind of lines in every time frame, and it's very useful. Now, let's carry on to the next question. This is how you can place it. There are many ways to use it, and I'm not going to talk about it too much now because I want to make it to the next question. How can I place correctly stop loss and take profit? This is an amazing question, especially to what we've already placed. Okay, so let's suppose that I'm looking at a very nice resistance here at 239.5, okay, which seems more suitable now. Let's make it Aqua or something, and that can also be no problem. Okay, and we are in somewhere in the middle. So let's suppose that I wish to place stop loss and take profit is the question. I'm gonna take it, paste it down. Okay, how can I place? Now let's randomly just click here and place it 239.5. Just a second, I'll be with a buy. Okay, perfect. 215. Okay. Now I can make 1,300. I can lose 1,140. I'm just going to simplify take profit and stop loss for everybody who doesn't know what they are. So this is execute when price hits. I'm putting it just for you guys to know, really super simple. I'm going to explain about it along with the stop loss and take profit. Stop loss and take profit are stopping the position automatically with the profit or with a loss. Stops position automatically with a profit. Oh, closes. Let's close the position. That will be with a loss. Okay, and that's a huge time saver. Basically, I can place them on the chart and I can go to work and it will happen automatically. Beautiful. Same apply with execute when price hits. It just launches the position instead of you sitting by the computer hoping for a price to occur. Okay, basically I can just mark here execute when price hits. I can put here, I don't know, 220. Okay, and it will place a position if it gets to 220. Okay, it's going to take my buy here instead of where it's at right now. Okay, I can also expire it. I can say, listen, if it doesn't happen till tomorrow, cancel it on the date. Okay, just a second. Perfect. Now what we have is just to place them correctly. What is exactly placing them correctly? Okay, what is, now I have them placed. Is it correctly? How can I know if it's correctly or not? Well, the easiest way to determine those things is to see if, just a second, if the results that I'm getting is what I'm looking for, okay, with the profit and with the stop loss. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's suppose that you see I have 10,000 in balance. Let's suppose that my target here is 1,000. Okay, and I'm also going to apply, we have target time movements in units. I'm also going to quickly apply the ATR. That helped me understand a certain measurement for candles. And I can know roughly what to expect coffee to make in a week. As you can see, it's moving on average per, no, sorry, this is days. Let's switch to weeks. Okay, and now we see that it's moving 17 in a week. 17 from where it's at right now. Let's see, 17. Okay, so the price for coffee is 226.75. Let's say 227 because we're going for a buy. 227 plus 17, that's 244. Where's 244? That is here. Okay, when was 244 last time that it's been on that price? Let's put a timeline stamp on it. 15th of April. Okay, so that was approximately a month ago, right? Now, the statistics is not picking us up, and I am afraid. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it down a bit. So this is my ATR, my average potential average movement. Set the fine for 7. Okay, and I can change. I don't want to explain about it too much, but I can just say that we can change the length, and then it measures how many candles it goes backwards. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's add an 8. Let's add an 8, so we can include. The no. Took it even down. Okay, so it doesn't really changes what we said. This is a bit too far away to get to 240 something, 244, and this is why I'd like to take a lower number. Okay, So we have the average true range, which was 17. Let's keep it 17. And we now have the actual movement which we are expecting for, okay, which can be, let's say, 10. And the 10 that I'm expecting for is from the current price, 226. Let's add a 10, that's 236. Okay, that becomes our target price. Okay, the now price is, as we said, 226. Now it changes. Okay, so let's change that as well. And let's see where it's at. So you see, we have the resistance here, 239, and 237 is even lower than that, right? It's even lower than that. Let's make it flat, 237. And I know for a fact it has potential to get there because we saw the ATR, and the ATR is much more than that. Okay, now to our question how to place it correctly. So 237, again, higher than that could have been correctly as well, but that just matches my numbers. So for me, it's placed correctly. Let's place it 10. That means that if we have 10, I need 100. And then 237 and a half. Okay, let's just, oh, sorry. The reason that it's not showing us the number is because execute when price hits its mark. So now it's planning to buy it from 220. So between 220 to 237, it's not 10, it's much more than that. Okay, it's 17 and a half. This is what's showing you that. So I'm going to cancel it, and then it becomes close to 1,000, which what we wanted. And now the stop loss. How do I place the stop loss? Does it work the same way as the take profit? Because now the take profit is placed, showing me, you see, it's displaying me that I can make 1,000. Great. Let's make it target price. Let's make it target price for loss. So let's say 215 loss. Okay. Potential loss. Let's see. 1,165. But that's a problem. I'm not happy with that. Okay, because this is 11%, 11.65% out of my balance, okay, exposure. Now, because I'm not happy with that, and I like to work with lower exposure, let's say 2, 3, or 5%, or even lower than that. Some people go for lower than that. So I wish this 1165 to become something less. Okay, let's suppose I want to cut it by half and make this position 5% instead. What I have to do is, let me also give you a nice tip on how it works. Okay, we're also going to take that, just slide it down here. Okay, and then we have just that. Okay, don't be overwhelmed. This is super simple. So we have 1,000 divided by 10 equals 100, and 100 times 10 equals 1,000. Just a second, guys. Okay, and then we can safely see where can we adjust the stop loss in order to match to our plan. And now, if I want this 1,190 to become 5%, okay, I have to adjust it according to the price that I want to buy to the price that I target. So if I target 215 and it shows me now it increased a little bit, and I want to get to 500. So how far away it needs to be if we're holding $100, $5 away. So 226 and a half will be 226 and a half minus 5, right? And then it's showing us that the possible losses became 545. So I have got the stop loss closer to my current price, okay, to my actual price. Okay, we can't really see that. We can't. There we go. We can also flat it to here. Okay, and then we can place it correctly. Again, correctly, this is really open for interpretation, but I can say that if you know how to adjust it, it's a great tool. This is how you can control your risk. You can also cut it by another half. Let's suppose that you want to go for, instead of 500, you want it to be 2.5. So you can just get it a little closer than that. And instead of $5 away, it can be $2.50 away. Okay, and then it becomes 2.5%. Okay. So take profit and stop loss. We had that, so that's showed on the chart. And also support is, and support levels are edge points above current prices, price. Okay. Okay, resistance level are edge points below the price. And the center is really self-explanatory. We don't have to explain that stuff correctly. Okay, so we can design our take profit and stop loss to match to our ambitions and risk money management. Risk money management. Okay, comparing the amount of units acquired versus the price difference between the entry to the target price. Okay, that can be all kind of things. Risk money management is divided to many levels. You can decide what will be your exposure for this position, for the whole account. You can maneuver, like I said, up and down with the take profit and the stop loss. You can increase and decrease your lot size, and this is how you can control your exposure. Okay. Can I make profit? Of course. This question is very good. Let's see. Can I make profits trading once a week? This is an exact example, okay, of how I can make profit with less than an hour. Okay. As you can see, to execute this position, I can just click buy. Of course, it took me some time as I'm explaining, but basically in here, when this is all set up, I can just launch it and I can review it in a week, okay, or during the week if I really want to. But this doesn't require me to actively sit on the computer and do something with this position, okay? Now, the following question is, I'm just gonna put here, yes, depending on the strategy, we can determine how much time we will spend on and design our position to match to our trading style. Okay, if I'm scalping, I'm not even trading once a week. I'm trading once a month or even more than that. It's a huge time saver. Of course, it's great to know that. Okay. Now, what should I do if I have a losing position? Okay. This is a very good question, by the way, even though it looks very simple. So, what do you think will be the obvious thing to do if I have a losing position? Basically, I could just think, I have a losing position now. If I'm losing, I can just close it, right? However, what is the benefit of not losing the position right away? Let's suppose I took here, let's suppose I took a sell and it went up a little higher. Okay, and now all of this has became my loss area. Okay, anything further than the price, let's suppose I took a sell. Okay, now this will turn around. Never mind. Really, it's less relevant, and I don't want to confuse you guys with too many colors. Let's suppose I took a sell, a coffee started going up. Okay, let's suppose it reached 23, let's say 230, I think it's, yeah, okay. Okay, let's suppose that reached to the gray line. It's a bit difficult to see by the ray here, and that's what's important. What I can do, so if it gets to here, I have a few options. One, close it on the spot. Two, wait. Three, I can hedge. Okay, we're not going to do that. We don't have time to explain too much about how it happens, but I can take another position simultaneously and hopefully compensate what I've lost and have even additional further profit. It's a bit complex. This is why I'd rather not to explain about it, but I'm going to discuss the two other options. One, I close it on the spot. The other one is wait. It's very simple. What do I gain from that? If I close it on the spot, my margin is freed up. Okay, let's understand something here, guys. When I take a position, I use leverage to occupy. I'm going to explain in a second. I'm using leverage to occupy a certain amount of units. Okay, and when I close the position, either with a profit or with a loss, it frees up the margin that I've used. You see where I am, where it says here margin impact. So let's just quickly put it down. We have price per unit, we have units, we have leverage. If you want to know a bit more into detail how it works, you can watch, like I said, the other webinar that we have. So we said that the price per unit is 226 and a half. The units here is, let's make it 10. Leverage is also 10, 1 to 10. The margin impact is 226. And the reason is, actually, I wanted to make it 20, just so you guys will see the difference. Otherwise, it looks the same. Just a second. Value is price per unit times units. Okay, which means the value here is, okay, so that's 226 times 20. That brings us that number. And the margin impact now became double because we doubled the quantities. Okay. Now, why would I want to close a position on the spot? If I close it and I lose, obviously this question refers to a losing position. If I close it on the spot and I lose, the margin that I've used is freed up. Then I can take another position if I want. Okay. What is the advantage of waiting? Again, remember that this is not a formula. Okay, it's not a guaranteed formula. What I'm explaining now is just for you guys to be able to have the tool to decide if to close or not to close. It's for you to decide, but I'm explaining here how we can look at it. So to close it, like I said, I don't like what I'm losing. I want to create another one. I'm freeing up margin. I'm closing the position. Okay. Now, when I wait, few things can happen. One, I can lose more. Okay. B, I can break even if it goes up to where it started, or I can make profits. Now, you remember that in the beginning I've placed certain lines on the chart and I've explained about support and resistance and the center line, and okay. Now, when I'm looking at the current price, let's suppose that, like I said, I've done a mistake and it went a little bit higher and now it's 230. If I hold it, and remember, I was with a sell, right? I was with a sell. If I hold it, and I'm looking at the prior lines that we had, see 23, 230, let's make it 240. Oops. Let's make it 240, just move it up a little bit. It's being funky with us, and this is why we're gonna change it this way. Oh, sorry, 234. Okay. All right. So I see that the line here, 234, is my primary, my recent resistance. So I think, okay, if I keep holding it, it might get to here. This can be a milestone for me to know if I should close it or not. Again, if I don't want to close it on the spot, what do I get from that? So if it gets to here, 234, let's look at the difference. Okay, now it became a bit lower. Never mind. Still, it's showing us that we can lose 81 if it gets to here, and if it gets farther up, we can lose another 80. Okay, and if it gets to this line, we can lose 260. So I need to think if getting to here or to here still matches the exposure that I designed in the beginning. You remember that I've explained that we can adjust in the previous question, we can adjust the 10%, 5%, 1% according to the amount of units that we have. And I can think whether I want to keep it and perhaps think of a line for me to close it, or I can just let it run. Now, keep in mind that the further it will go against me, the more I will lose. Okay, so if I think of the point that I want to break even, if I took it here, obviously it needs to be here. So if it went all the way up, and I'm thinking of 225 as my target price, this is statistically when it was there, and I can see that it was there on, let's see, yesterday. Oh, we're looking at days. Just notice that we're looking at days, not weeks. We changed. Yesterday, it's been on that price. The day before, it wasn't. The day before, it did. 4 days before, it did. This is the weekend. This is why it looked like that. And then I go statistically, and I can see that frequently, every 2 to 3 days, it visits that price. Okay, so I have a reason to believe that it can get there in a matter of few days, and that gives me proportions if I want to keep holding it or not. Again, it can go even higher than that and get beyond 240, but statistically, this is what we see here. Okay, let me just show you once, twice. Okay, look, all those days, it went across that price. Okay, 225. So statistically, it's not every day, but you can see that it's quite occasionally. Okay, let's get rid of everything. Oh, did we? Okay, so break even, we talked about that. Lose more, we talked about it. I can make profits. So for me to make profits, maybe I shouldn't have deleted it. So for me to make profits, what needs to happen? Remember, because I'm with a sell, it needs to go even further down. So I can match with the same technique to the lower points that I've described, and I can determine a take profit by that and see how frequent it can go to my price. Okay. Unfortunately, guys, our time is almost up. So I'm just going to put here quickly show them the chart because this is really, really long to write down, and I would rather send you the links instead so you guys can enjoy more content that we have on our website. This is the link for more education. Okay, I'm going to send it all over the chat. I'm going to send it through the chat. Please let me know if you received it. Again, as I'm explaining always, guys, I have no indication to know if you guys receiving that or not, but I can just say that it's that I sent it. Okay, so I'm sending you a couple of things here. Let's see together. This is for more education. It's an amazing section showing you videos and all kind of things. Login and deposit, FEC and Health Centre. The real account, if you're still playing with the demo and you wish to feel the business and really to get going, so this is to make a real account. And the academy, although the academy is something that you can reach through the here. Okay, you see here there is a button with tutorials and academy, so this takes you to the academy, and that shows you some nice videos which we can see. Okay, super simple. You just get to here, you can see whatever you like. Yeah, a lot of content, guys. This is really a lot of content. Through here you can get to our YouTube channel. And yeah, let me also send you the privilege. Usually we don't have a lot of time to send it, but now we do. So we're going to send you the Q&A benefit. That will be found on the chat, and this is something that you can give to your senior account manager to give you a premium one-on-one premium market review. Okay, just before we say goodbye, I would like to say a few words about what we talked about today. So the preparations that we can place, as we spoke about those slides, right? We have some lines here, we have the ATR. Okay, I would rather sometimes spend some time on finding a good entry for me to trade rather than to trade on the spot. Sometimes it's better to use the execute when price hits, and then I can enjoy. Let's suppose I would want to buy, and this is super simple. Again, just a very basic tip here. Let's suppose I want to buy here. Okay, just like going to the mall and buying a product in a cheaper price. Sometimes I want to acquire coffee in a cheaper price, and instead of buying it here, let's suppose I want to buy it here. So I can just go execute price when price hits 220. And like I said, it's going to launch it from here. Now, why would I want to do that? What would make me want to do that? Because now it's already past a certain length that I could have grasped. So if I'm going to launch the position here at buy, of course it can go further down as well, but it might be easier for me to grasp. You see the difference? The ATR, the length that it measured. Sometimes I just want to capture a certain distance that I really need. I don't need it to necessarily go so much up, just the bit that I want. Okay, so I can customize it with a good entry. All right, guys, unfortunately, we have 2 minutes left, and this is not enough to teach you anything new. But I hope that everybody learned at least one new thing from this webinar. And that's it. I hope that everybody enjoyed. Thank you again for joining us today. That's it. Have best of luck with trading. Visit us next week. Have a good day.